Welcome to my channel, Man-Made. So today, I'm going to show you how to automate a Google search for HQ Trivia. The things you're going to need are obviously a computer, a MATLAB, and a screen sharing software. In my case, I use TeamViewer. So I broke the pseudocode for this project into 5 parts. First, we need to screenshot the question and answers. Second, run visual recognition on them. Third, search the internet using the question in Google. Fourth, count how many instances there are of each answer. And fifth, display the answer with the highest count. Before we get started, we need to first open our screen sharing software. With TeamViewer, you have to download the software for both your computer and your phone, then open them both up and type in the ID for your phone in this strip right here, and then hit connect. Then it's going to pop up a permission screen on your phone and hit allow. You should get a share window from your phone. So what I do is I expand that window as tall as possible, and then I align it up to the right-hand screen. It's important that you do this exactly the same every single time. Now, it's also important that you expand this as big as possible because your visual recognition does better when you have more pixels. So the bigger the window, the better. Now that we've covered that, let's dive into the code. So first off, you have your standard clear all, close all, CLC. I use TikTok to measure the length of my code, but that's all just preparatory stuff. So the actual code starts right about here, so let's uncomment it. Now, the way it works is for the function screenshot, you need to give it a vector position and just a number to differentiate it. So every time you give it a screenshot, you just got to change that number. The way the vector works is you're going to be creating a box for your screenshot, and you're going to measure the X location, the Y location, the width, and the height of your box. So just a quick background in the way pixels work on your monitor. Pixel location for the X direction is pretty self-explanatory. It starts on the left-hand side and it increases in value as you go right. The Y value actually starts from the top of the screen and increases in value as you go down. So that's not as intuitive, so you gotta be careful of that. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You're just making a box for your screenshot. So I have a pretty high-res screen, and so my pixel location is this for my question. Now, yours is going to be different, so you're going to have to do a lot of trial and error. But something that's going to really help you is using these 2 commands. You're going to have to create a figure and then show the image using IamShow. I'm going to run this code just to show that first bit there. And there you go. So that's the first screenshot that I took. We're going to have to do the same exact thing for each of the answers. I'm going to uncomment those as well so you can see them. But they're exactly the same thing. We just changed the numbers. So just start incrementing all the numbers. I skipped 2 because in my original code I had an extra screenshot, and I don't want to have to change every single bit of code just because I changed my numbers. Anyways, if it really bothers you, you can put a 2. So there it goes. There you are. So we have each of the screenshots of each of the answers and the question. Alright, so that's step 1. We took the screenshot of the question and the answers. Now step 2 is that we're going to have to run the visual recognition. Alright, I have a visual recognition function that I wrote, and it just utilizes the MATLAB's OCR built-in library. So the way I wrote it was the function's called visual recog, and then you just feed it the picture name. So once you get that picture name, it reads in, then it runs OCR on the picture name. Then after you get that, all you want out are the words. So I just extract the words or the result words out of it, and that's the new string. So if you didn't understand that, all you need to know is you put in your image name and you get out strings or words. So you run the visual recognition on each of the images and you get out your strings. Now this one I actually had to delete a space that was at the front of every single string. So if you just copy and paste this, it helps. It just throws things off later on if you have that extra space at the front. Let's actually run our code up to this point and see if it throws any errors. So none so far. And it output our string for a question because we didn't suppress it. So our string question doesn't have a semicolon, therefore it's displaying it. We can do it for the rest of them as well. Let's just do that for the sake of learning and understanding. So this is what it output. We have our question, we have our string for an answer 1, and then we have our string for answer 1 without that space at the front. There's answer 1, answer 2, there's a space, there's no space, there's answer 3, space, no space, and that's it. So I'm just going to suppress them so that it doesn't output this every time. I just leave the question on so that I make sure that I actually got the question. So, step 3, we're going to search Google using this command web read, and then we feed it our URL. So to get our URL, we put the standard https :/www.google.com/search $q equals, and then we're going to slap on our string or question there. So this horizontal concatenate is just gluing two strings together. If you want to see that, we can actually run it without suppressing it, and it'll spit it out for us. So there's our URL. As you can see, it literally took our first bit that we quoted there, and then our string, our question that we had, and then it runs a search using this web read URL. Now I'll unsuppress that so you can see that as well. And there it is. This is the text in a page if you search that question. This is now the text of the web page that we searched for. Now what we have to do in our next step is search that text for any of the answers. The way we do that is using this command regexpi. What regexpi does is you feed it your text, like the text you're going to search, and then you add the text that you're searching for inside that larger text. And all I want to do is count how many of those are in there. So it's going to create a vector of all those strings, and then I just want to find the length of that vector. Because if I find the length of that, then I know how many times it appears in that text. So if we do that for each of them, we get the count for each of our answers, answer 1, answer 2, and answer 3. So now we have how many times each of those answers appears inside the searched Google text page. Alright, so the last step is now displaying the correct answer. So what we do is rearrange them so that we have our answers and our values for each of the answers, the number count, in a matrix. And then we use this max. It's now going to find the largest number of A1, A2, and A3 and give me that index. I'm going to use that index to find the correct answer in a vector of those answer strings. Here I say the choice is, and it just puts out the one with the highest number. So let's see it. Oh, I forgot to suppress the last step, but in the end it says it was Mario is missing, and it took 4 seconds to do it. Now if we suppress that stuff, I bet you the time will go down by quite a bit. So let's run it again. There you go. That's it. That's the basics of it. That about covers all the code. Just a few tips. You probably want to suppress all, or at least comment out the screenshots that are displayed every single time. If you do that, it should speed up the code, so I'm just going to run it without the screenshots being displayed. And it does about 3 seconds, 2.6 seconds or so. Another thing in the code, you can unsuppress the solutions matrix. This will give you the answers and the count for each answer. This helps out with, I guess, post ties, so you know not to trust it. I did try running this without all my other programs open, such as the screen recorder and whatnot, and I get an average of about 1.8 seconds, which is quite a bit better than this. If you're interested in this code, I have this along with an improved code I've been working on, available on my coffee.com page that's linked in the description. My new code I've been honing for quite a while now, and I get it to about a 75% accuracy. It'll be about $3 in the commissions page. You can easily win that back and more in the game. It's not that difficult. I'll leave you with some clips showing how the code works. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching my channel.
Question 1. By definition, which of these living abodes is usually the smallest? Mid-mansion, one-bedroom, or studio? A. Studio! Okay. An old-fashioned is usually served with a twist of what fruit? Lime, orange, or kiwi? Red Beanie, over 125,409. You're keeping warm. Moving on to question 4. Which of these is one of the 7 deadly sins? Wrath, guilt, or resentment? Deadly sins. Wrath! That's right. Wrath was in. Triceratops is the official dinosaur of the state with what capital? Cheyenne, Oklahoma City, or Austin? Cheyenne! That's right. Which of these animals shares 2 collective nouns with ants? Bats, hyenas, or frogs? Army as a group of ants. That's right. The original Apple Watch did not have which feature? Rose gold option, heart rate monitor, or GPS? There is no GPS! What? Which book's author said she didn't think Jane Austen would mind pot stealing because she's dead? Mr. Darcy's Diary, Jane of Austen, or Bridget Jones' Diary? Who wrote? Which Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero portrayer once played a character named Kale? Bucky, Thor, or Captain America? Name Kale before you play. That's it. Thor. What author tweeted about Millie Bobby Brown before she was cast on her hit show? Gillian Flynn, Neil Gaiman, or Stephen King? Stephen King, baby! The main Nike campus's cafeteria is housed in a building named for a star in what sport? Basketball, soccer, or football? Not the American football. I'm talking about soccer. What treat is mentioned in the lyrics to 1-2 Step? Cinnamon rolls, cupcakes, or Jello? I could do it too, man. Which NBA coach did a Sports Illustrated cover appearing as a fortune teller? Was it Pat Riley, Greg Popovich, or Phil Jackson? Phil Jackson is the fortune teller in Now and Then. That's right. She's a tarot reader. What is the name of this first Mario game where Luigi is the solo star? Mario is missing. Where'd he go? Oh. Which of these composers was born most recently? Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Frédéric Chopin, or Ludwig van Beethoven? Chopin was born in 1810. Most recently, sales numbers, artistic collaboration, or was it food order? Hotel. She even posted Lynn's personal number on Twitter. It was over a food order. It was over those truffles. Which of these U.S. presidents spent one of his last days in office riding in an electric vehicle? Was it Benjamin Harrison, William McKinley, or John F. Kennedy? William McKinley! Which of these royals did not receive their own official Funko Pop figure? Was Prince George, Duchess Meghan, or Prince William? Prince George. That teeny cute little prince. The planet has a moon that shares a name with a lead actor on Cheers. Neptune, Saturn, or Jupiter?